guys, so I thought that we'd be making these gorgeous rose buns today, and they're the same types of breads that you would see in dim sum for the baos, only they're turned into these gorgeous pretty rose shapes, and I thought that they would be perfect for Valentine's Day. Imagine bringing a plate of these. So anyways, let's head over to the kitchen and then let's get started. Okay, so these are the ingredients that I'll be using, and I will be linking them in the description box down below. So we're gonna start off with 1 cup of warm water first, and that's just to activate the yeast. So 1 teaspoon of yeast goes in. And then following that, this is 2 tablespoons of beetroot powder. I like it for its red color for the roses later, but it will also provide some sweetness to the dough as well. I also added 1 tablespoon of sugar to this just so that the yeast has something to feed on, and you want to leave it there for about 10 minutes just until it starts bubbling like that. Afterwards, this is 2 1/3 cups of flour along with a pinch of salt. So I have this on a dough hook. You can actually use a spoon as well, and you're just looking to mix it around first and then eventually turn it on to medium speed. I added 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, and that'll just kind of help keep the bread nice and soft. So this is on medium speed, and you're just gonna knead it for about, I would say like maybe a minute or so, just until the dough releases from the side of the bowl. So this is not a long kneading process at all. So you're just gonna put it out onto the table and then get it into a nice ball shape before putting it back into the bowl, and then you're gonna leave it really just for about, I'd say about a half an hour. You're not looking for it to rise too much at all, but just a little bit. So after about a half an hour in a nice warm place, you can see that the ball has grown just a little bit, but not too much. So I'm gonna put it out onto a surface, and then you're gonna want to divide this up into 25 little balls. And they're gonna be about, I'd say if you had a scale, about 20 grams each. And I'm just gonna roll it all into little balls and then just keep them covered because they do have a tendency to dry up. So this is basically what I'm about to do. So I'm going to roll these guys out into about 4-inch diameter discs. And you need 5 discs, with the 5th one kind of being a little bit larger. It can be for the outer petals, and then you're gonna line them up just like this, where each of the circles kind of go on top of each other halfway. And then for the 5th circle, you just wanna roll it up into a little cigarette, because that's going to be the center of the rose petal. So you line them up like that, make sure that they're all nice and lined up, and then you just roll them up like so. So after you're done, you want to make sure that the seam side is on the bottom. I took a brush and I just kind of brushed off any excess flour that you might have, and then you want to take a dough cutter and then down the middle you want to cut it down, and then what that's going to do is that's going to also create kind of a closure for the bottom of the rose, and you can kind of use your fingers and then tuck it in so that it's not, you know, a straight cut, and you can kind of turn it round again. And then what you're going to do with your fingers is to just kind of open up the petals like so, and you can already see that it looks very much like a rose. It's super pretty, and you just kind of adjust it afterwards. So I'm just gonna put it into a steam basket fitted with a little bit of parchment paper so that it'll release afterwards, and then you do the same to the other side. So you can see that each of the 5 discs is going to yield you 2 rose flowers like so. So afterwards, you're gonna get some really gorgeous roses like this, and keep in mind that you don't always have to make each of the flowers the same. Some of them you can keep as rose buds, and then the others you can kind of open it a little bit so that it kind of mimics more like real flowers. So you're gonna put a cover on it, and then you're gonna let that rise for about 30 minutes. Once again, keep it in a fairly warm place, and you can see that how much these guys have grown. So I have a pot of boiling water off to the side, and I'm just gonna put this steamer basket right on top. You wanna steam these guys on about medium high, and just put a cover on top of it. They go for about 12 minutes, and then after 12 minutes, you wanna turn the heat off and then leave it for a good 2 to 3 minutes so that the baos don't kind of deflate. So kind of the same idea as meringues. So these are after they're done. I know that they lost a lot of that like brilliant red color because of the beets being kind of a natural flavor, and then after they cook. So if you do want, you know, a different color, you can definitely choose to use food coloring as opposed to kind of natural foods that way. But actually they turn out to be fairly pretty as well. There's like a really pretty kind of pink orange. Not really sure if the camera is really picking up on that. So these are amazing to eat, and I wanted to just show you after, you know, taking a bite off the middle. They are super soft, and kind of fun to eat because you can kind of peel them off in layers, sort of like eating them via petals. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I really think it's going to be very fun to make for Valentine's Day, and I kind of like that it's like a traditional Chinese bread recipe, and then you kind of turn it into roses like these. As usual, if you like this recipe and you want to see me make more of these, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button, okay? And I will see you guys again next time. Bye!